life super spec. Mr. Brightside, 100 to go. Another will, 3/4 of a length coming at Mr. Brightside. Mr. Brightside, another will, got it. Another will, an emotional win at Woolsthorpe. Another will has won it.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm in the studio. It's a wet one today up at the Gold Coast, so weather watch a couple of northern venues, but John Walter joins me.
Heavy 10 in the yard, trying to get into the studio. Yeah, heavy 10. It was plenty overnight, plenty this morning. You wouldn't think it'd be recovering up here for Saturday. Anyway, I don't know about Sydney.
I think it should be still pretty good at Eagle Farm. It'll dry out. I'd say a 4 or a 5. And then, Sydney's got about 14 mil Friday night overnight. So might touch a 5, but depends if they overwater.
They're actually the forecast we like, aren't they? Because if it just sneaks through 5 or 6 mil, the track will be perfect and the clowns won't water it. So, as long as we don't get the rough side of it. I'd rather 15 mil of natural than 5 mil of irrigation anyway, to be honest.
Hopefully not as laney. Melbourne is sunshine, but a little bit of wind around. How are you, boys?
If the show was yesterday, I wouldn't have got here, Scoot. I was been a bit grubby the last couple of days, but made a rapid improvement this morning to get in here for the show. Unlike Nico. Nico's, mate, he's shining. He looks like he's come straight from the salon. He's got the do, he's got the blow dry. Looking good, Nico. In for a big weekend.
Yeah, keen for the weekend. Super excited for the Lightning Stakes. The good horses are back. And even in Sydney, what a ripper weekend it is there as well. So I think the worst part about doing this show is Thursday morning. You got a few more days to sort of wait for these big races to come around. So the anticipation is high.
Do they provide a blow dryer at .com for the yard stuff that you do? Is there a bit of makeup and a blow dryer scenario there? Obviously, we don't give you that. I might have to get one.
There is makeup. No blow dryer there though. No.
Ask Kanga. Kanga will bring him in.
Kanga will get you a blow dryer. Yeah. Do it himself. Oh, the Kanga count. We've got a big Kanga count.
Did he get Gatorated?
What's that?
They dumped the Gatorade on him after in the Super Bowl thing. Someone put up the video yesterday. They put the blue Gatorade on him.
Christ.
Yeah, they got him. Yeah.
I thought we were going to have a Kanga-free show.
Oh, he's the best.
Been a pretty quiet week, I think, in the racing circles, or compared to usual. I see Andy Hode's going to go from head of content at Entain to EGM role at racing.com. So some fresh eyes and some new ideas in the .com space there. So you might have someone to report to that's brand spanking new, Nico. But some of the stuff that Entain puts out is pretty polished. So it'd be good to see that influence at .com. And gosh,
interesting swap because they're probably the most aggressive. Other content provider, the most aggressive content providers. Well, it's an interesting swap, yeah. Yeah,
I think it's a good get. And I've been hearing from multiple sources, everyone diving into the Little Birdie DMs and my private DMs, that a high-profile racing administrator might be gone by the end of the year.
Oh, mate, if it's the same person we think, I've been having that for about 5 years, and I gave up hope about 4 years ago. I just coast now because
the jungle drums are beating.
Oh mate, they've been beating off more than a 14-year-old bloody. Anyway, whatever.
Don't know if that's starting to trickle down into Victoria, but I think I've said in a couple of maybe
it could be dead as it is. He's a weekend at Bernie's for about the last 6 months anyway. Has anyone seen
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't show up in Vegas.
Ever since the Rose Hill committee thing, we saw plenty of him.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him since.
Jungle drums are beating, so make sure you watch that space. And
interesting.
If that comes to fruition, make sure you get yourself to the Gold Coast. We'll put on a race day, and me and Wild will split the bar table. Anyway, so that's as good as we got from news. But 110% markets are back. 3 till 4 Fridays at TopSport. I got stuck in them last week, and I'll be there knocking on the door and just pausing any dad duties on Friday. And this week we've got some good ones. Race 3, 7, 8 at Flemington, and then we've got Randwick 5, 7, 8. And we're going to preview those on today's show, which is beautiful business. Quick look in the rearview mirror first. So, Nico, you got the Tassie double. You're Mr. Ubiquitous. You're everywhere at the moment, as DK mentioned. The team lay on Mr. Brightside was very lovely, especially when another wheel just steamed down. And, you got the market.
It was a long straight.
Huh?
It was a long straight. She rode it to perfection, but it was a long straight.
Cracker. And I think Craig had to do what he did, and he gave it a big chance, and the stable told the truth, and it was a run short.
Rode it sensational.
Yeah, I thought he gave it a 12 out of 10.
It was a worry. It was when you're like, oh, no.
He's nearly perfected it.
Yeah, but she did. She was cool as ice, wasn't she? Holy cow.
Well, what happened in the yard, Nico?
Oh, Mr. Brightside probably needed the run. So, yeah, it was even keener another Will because that was probably the best I've seen in parade. He was very relaxed. He came there looked like plenty of fitness on his side. So when they meet again, it'd be no surprise at all if Mr. Brightside turns tables because he probably can improve another length or two. So that would be a little bit scary if you're going to bet up on another Will. But I don't think they clash to the All-Star Mile now. I don't think he's going to the Futurity another Will.
It's one of those I put in my comments all the time. It's a swap the runs to swap the result.
Yeah.
He'd stalked Mr. Brightside the whole way. If Mr. Brightside's a stalker next time or whatever, then, things are a lot different. So, but no, well done. Another Will, he sort of stepped to that next level. I was looking at Dano's stuff and he said he rated Mr. Bree what he did first up last time and Pinstripe rolled him, so basically exactly the same. And another Will sort of stepped up as we have, only 13 starts, like he's still got improvement in him.
It's handy to get one right, especially when you can knock him over at the short odds. Public attention lived up to his trials, Waltz. That was a beauty. And the good thing...
Jeez, he was well backed.
Hey?
Jeez, he was well backed, and that stable's still getting a handle on him. I'd much rather find him at 8-1 than 6-4, but yeah, that horse looks like it's got a bit of progression in it too.
Different gravy price in Sydney. Ben or whoever is doing the job up there is going well. Bella's Aim was a beauty for me and a little bit of a sad story for you, but scratched from the 1100, went to the 1000. I had a bigger horn for it. Reggie did the trick there, and then Rivellino went to plan. J-Mac just smoked the pipe and just stormed down the outside. So got a lot there, and hopefully others chimed into that. But
it was probably a harder race, but it worked out really well, didn't it? 1,000 when you're outside leader and they were jogging along. You were pretty happy with yourself in transit.
Yeah, but it was a restricted race, so just a bit of an asterisk around that sort of form. And then the lucky last, the first time we tried that one, Lost in Transit, got really tight there and might have been something licked in the last, so I'll have another crack at that. But Nico, he's got Flemington Lightning Stakes. It looks like a decent 1,000-metre sprint there. Got the CS Hayes, which got all the 3-year-olds coming back and heading towards the Australian Guineas. You got the Tressady for the fillies and mares. And then, Walt, you've got the Sydney Trial Special. So it looks like there's about 100 horses first up. You got the Apollo, the Light Fingers, the Expressway, and then you got Uncle Chris with, I'd say he's what? He's second string riders. He didn't fly Yao, Marrera out, or Joe, or
he's got his trial riders on race day. It's
right.
scary.
Yes,
it's scary. 5-horse field in the Expressway, or 6-horse field, or something. It's danger. Will Robinson, all systems go. What did we get? We got 10-1 for Isostina, didn't we, last time in a bigger field first up, and even money this time with Noddy aboard. It's oh god, we'll get on that later.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. But yeah, the field size are a little bit average, but the quality of what's in the fields is spot on. DK, you got Terang tomorrow. No prices up, but keen for that one. And then I'll have another look at Bris Vegas race 10. So it's a beauty. Queensland Racing is sort of owning that final slot, 10 to 6, and I think the race looks like a cracker too. But there's a massive bit of rain forecast at about 5 o'clock. So it might be a good 4, and then it might end up on a soft 7. So that's exactly what we need on a Thursday show. TopSport Steam had to do the new run. They went 0 from 4. So hopefully they've got a couple of better bets, and they've got some interesting bets, real quirky set of early bets. So hopefully there's something there, all value plays by the look of it. DK, you're going to open the batting here. It's Terang Race 3. It's the Brandt Terang Maiden Plate over 1,200 metres. The replay we're going to have a look at here is My Angel Shell. It's in the purple, and it's Linda out in front.
Yeah, it's in front here, and gets collared about the 300. But these are two heavily fancied first starters outside it. My boy Ned for Payne, and the thing outside for a good cause it was best backed, and it's accelerating here really hard to the line. And love the way the inside horse digs in here. The last 100 could have easily given up, and it's going as good as it through and after the line in a race I know it's only out wide at Auction, but it was a 3-year-old maiden with some fancy first starters, and they ran nice sectionals and time, so I had it rating quite well. Fitter for that goes to Terang again, but only balance sort of got going there on that tight straight at Horsham sort of late, gets on this beautiful big straight, the largest home, Terang's got the largest, longest home straight of the country tracks in Victoria, so gets to balance up and use its strength more at this track. J. Allen, gate 3, low draw around Terang, even though it is a long straight, you want to be up there. Ford near the rails, the best spots around that joint. And it's from Dabernick. So Dabernick's, I don't think there's a camp going any better in Victoria down here than Dabernick. I think he's going at 27%, nearly 1 in 3, in about that, Nico, about the moment. It's just flying. So, Yeah, so this horse really suited. And as far as the opposition go, there's a great line to take here because the thing they'll put up favourite or equal favourite or whatever, cool as ice, that was an 1100 metre at Horsham race 1. It was in race 2, right? $1.40, got beat. They ran slower time and they were home slower, much slower time and home slower. So the first thing's rated really well on the up. Cool as ice, got beaten $1.40, slower time, rated a lot less. So I'd much rather be on the Dabenig horse, and it's drawn better, and it'll be stronger at the end of 1200. Cool as ice got a query at 1200. She's a Dare's another one's got all these placings. It'll be in the market, but great Western form. New Year's Day ran at Terang, but on New Year's Day out wide, that form's not good enough here, I don't think, for My Angel Shell. Jafina ran well at Geelong the other day, but was from gate 1. Now it draws 16. And the thing, Mitch Friedman's thing, it's another one that got turned over at $1.70 the other day, and that was a low rating race at Benalla. It's trialled all right, still learning. The one I could save on if it runs is Bundoran, a thing of Lindsay's. Had a stack of gear. It was a funny run. I don't know what was going on at its first start. Had all this gear on, sort of never really got going to the last 50 metres. They trialled it and ripped all the gear off at Trialled Super, and then it ran really well. It ran into Rocket Boosters, thing of Linda Meach, who won on debut, heavily backed, and then ran well at Moonee Valley the other day. So it's got drawn gate 2. It might be able to follow My Angel Shell in the run, but has to run out a strong 1200. But I reckon this is a beauty. This is My Angel Shell here, Dabenig, J. Allen, good map, good draw, big track against some horses who got seconds and thirds next to their name, which I'm happy to bet against. Any thoughts there, Nico?
You touched on his stats, and I was just looking at his pretty much what you said in terms of his stats. But his last 50 runners, he backed all his horses second up. He's had 7 runners for 5 winners. So he's going around, 70% there, 71%. So second up this horse, it seems go time for Dabenig of his last few runners.
Deep diving, yeah, that's it. So all right, hopefully it goes better than the things that, last week the thing did that one of them went horrible. The other thing was good, got beaten nose and nose at $10 or whatever it was at Colac. But the bigger track here, Terang.
Flemington of the Bush.
Flemington of the Bush, happy hunting around it, sort of, don't mind Terang.
Interesting, Hamaguchi. It's an interesting breed, that, like Royal Descent, out of the mare Royal Descent, and they've sent it to I Am Invincible. She was like a Caulfield Cup horse and like a staying thing. That's just a really weird thing to do, but it's the first starter there. Yeah. My only negative there is John Allen, DK. Does that scare you? Linda up front to John Allen.
No. I've seen this with Dabenig. He's used J. Allen. There's stronger rider. So when he wants a stronger rider, he puts J. Allen on. I've seen it work a couple of times, and I heard him on the radio say, I've got J. Allen on, stronger rider today. This horse will improve. I heard him say that. So Linda's a bit soft, she's just a gentle rider, just sort of. But if he needs this, I reckon this horse might respond to the strong riding of J. Allen in the long straight too. So no problems there, Scoot.
All right, I just had to get that off my chest because Johnny Allen on Kicking Kin.
It's Group 1 Johnny. Don't you listen to Rick McIntosh? It's Group 1 Johnny. Every time he calls him, you blokes up there. You saw him ride. What was that thing of? Won the Derby, Australian Derby up there, High Totsu and all that. And you call him the bloody jumps jockey riding Group 1. He's a bloody good jockey, J. Allen.
What is that?
Especially
One swallow doesn't make a spring. But as his mid-race move last week, Nico down in Hobart, has he ever done that in his life on Kicking King?
Well, they were going extremely slow, and it probably nearly won him the race.
Nearly won in there.
The other was just too good in the end, like a Helix. Like we said, he's probably pretty smart. He looks like he'd come over here and do some damage. So I reckon just the way he's sort of riding, he hasn't got a lot of outside rides at the moment. I think he's probably having a real crack because there's not a lot of opportunities there. Like Mar's been using Safi and Foley and all these other riders.
Like Mar's using a wide range of riders now. Even if you look at the jump, I was looking at the Horsham trials the other day and looking who rode all the different horses, and Jalen was on a lot of outside horses. He had 1 or 2 for Mar, but they were really spread around, and he was riding for about 4 different joints.
Yeah, he's had nearly 400 rides this season and only 100 for Mar. That would have been 300 back in the day out of the 400. So, I would say it's maybe a good time to find him because he's probably working hard and he's got to get an earn.
Needs a wake-up call. Timely. King of the wake-up call. Johnny Allen. Wasn't he?
They all need a wake-up call every day. Jockey should be woken up with spiked bats.
Maybe it's the getting up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning that just frizzles them. All right, there you go. So DK's up and about race 3, number 3, nice and simple there. Terang, My Angel Shell. So it looks hard to beat, and the only negative I could find was good old Johnny, Potato Man. Let's have a look at...
It's a maiden at Terang. It's not a Group 1 race, Scoot.
Well, I said on last week's show he should stay in Tassie, and I'll stand by that until he proves me wrong.
Rightio.
All aboard, Johnny. Go, son. Flemington, 110% is going to cover the lot, so you got the best opportunity to pull Tristan's pants down. And race 3 is the first one. It's the Francis Tressady Stakes, over 1,400 metres, and Fancify's the favourite at TopSport, $3.20 in from $3.80. Plenty of ammo, $5. Mirabelle Rose, $5. Molly Bloom, $7. Bizot has been backed overnight, 13 into 850. Wishful Last, $9. Rote Tarataki, $10. Flying Fizz, $14. Capricorn Star, $51. Replay you like first here is Fancify, Nico, in the Hickmont white and blue.
Yeah, I had something on her this day. I thought this sort of might work out how it did, where she got a pretty easy lead, was able to kick off the bend. She's bulletproof, she's just airborne. She'll go the Oakley Plate and sort of
just went like a Learjet here, didn't it? Amazing win.
Yeah, she's probably a bit of an each way chance, and she's not here. Bizot back in the field, Mirabelle Rose, Rote Tarataki, they're all here. And I think Fancify, it's just sort of gone to a bit of a new level her last few runs. She was a big winner over Cup Week in a pretty similar race where she went straight to the lead and just dominated, ran a pretty good rating on that occasion. I think she can get back to that off what she did fresh. I think there's a little bit of improvement there. I like Todd Pannell going aboard. He seems to have a good association with this mare and just controls the race. You got, I would say the key danger is plenty of ammo, but Simon Wild, horses first up, they just always improve. So I know she ran second first up last campaign, but Uncle Bryn did beat her at 200-1. So I doubt she's really here to fire fresh, and she's drawn 8. A little bit of a sticky map there. I think she has those horses covered, which she ran against in the lead up. And then you're looking at sort of Molly Bloom, first up, J Mac Waller. I sort of mapped her last because I just don't know where she sort of ends up. Aside from that, she was a bit unlucky in the Epsom, but her runs either side of that were, I would say, disappointing. So yeah, I thought it just all roads led to Fancify. I've never really sort of been fully on the train before, but I think this campaign, just the way races have sort of set up for her, great run last start and should just improve here and be very hard to catch. Not surprised at all to see the early market sway away, and with the way the winds might work out on Saturday as well, it's probably no disadvantage to be on speed. So looks a lot in Fancify's favour to kick off the card at Flemington.
Yeah, 100%. I think you mentioned the next horse or the big danger that I thought was plenty of ammo, and we've got the replay from it's Crystal Mile. I think Royal Champions,
God bless her,
winning here, but this was some sort of run. She was just never on the track, and I just couldn't believe. I'll steal one of DK's words, the temerity, the T word, and I just don't know how she was in the finish here. She was so strong.
Gritty.
Yeah,
gritty.
Well, look at all the unlucky runs in behind it. Like if she nearly falls, Von Hawk, Poison Chalice. Like I think you could have made a case she could have definitely got beat there if the others had a crack.
God bless it.
Yeah, but I just thought, just posted, I thought there's just a lot of strength there. And the camp did have a massive opinion of this horse. And I've got a suspicion that she just might be cranked up a little bit harder this time in. And I think if there's going to be a horse super strong in this, that was the one that sort of got under my guard. But DK, your thoughts on the race?
Well, I'm seat 1A in the Plenty of Ammo fan club. I found her in a maiden. I think she might have won a Class 1 or something, and I declared her a group horse on this show. You know, when she won the bet at her second start, I said she'll be up in chasing Pride of Jenny or something in races in 12 months' time, and she's progressed really well. I've got to keep a close eye on her. Obviously, she had the average trial, and Wild said probably 1,600 All-Star, peak Grand Final Australian Cup. That's the target, so maybe might need this clean-up, whereas Fancify's the here and now up front, you know, off that sprint race, beaten by the great sprinter. Now it's 1,400 back to her own sex. You know, go just spin around up front in Flemington. So, I love Plenty of Ammo, but I think if she's going to get rolled, it'll be first up here because she's only had that one trial average and into this.
Yeah, and just the stats to back up the S Wild comment. His last 12 months, he's had 84 runners fresh for 4 winners. He's got 5%, so they just always improve.
No, fair call. What about you, Walt? Anything about Molly Bloom? Running pretty strong races last time. Nothing in its trials?
Typical. No, not really. Quiet. Just nightmare. You can pop up, but yeah, you've got to let it beat you, I'd say.
All right. Outstanding. All right. So Fancify for Nico. And
Good
then
horse, Fancify. I was just saying, it's won 7 from 14, Fancify.
Yeah, she's a winner.
Like seven wins, 4 placings. Missed the money 3 times. Good. Yeah, all right. No, it should be hard to run down, Scoot.
Well, hopefully Toddy Panel just spears it straight to the front and gets the job done.
Have we got a new stat sponsor here today or something? Is
Puntingform.com.au?
sponsoring? Oh, Punting.com.
Punting form, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where everyone gets it.
No worries.
gets the grouse.
Oh, cool.
Just written down there on the bottom of the show. You can just see it. It's
Oh,
grouse.
got it.
Yeah. Every day, first thing, I just turn it on. Don't worry about the missus. Just get straight in the punting form.
Jesus Christ.
Flemington Race 7 is the next one. It's a CS Hayes Stake, 110% market, a toppy, but the prices at the moment are $460 Royal Insignia. Seppel's been a big mover. A lot of these overnight bombs that are happening. What's going on?
Thursday, bombs. Friday, Wednesday night bombs.
Yeah, what's going on? Seppel's is 8 into 550 bombed. Feroce 9 into 750. Henline 950. Stay Focus 10. 11 Gold Rush Guru in from 18. You got Wonder Boy 15. Opening Address 18. Scary, Najola, Red Aces, Railway Man, Stay Humble, all out the gate. Seen a Million, one of yours, Walt. But this is a fascinating contest, and I guess the favourite, we'll start talking about it, and it's Royal Insignia. Nico, what do you think of this one?
Good win. I thought Tropicus was he was well backed. I think it was 10 into 5 and maybe just ridden a bit warm first up. I don't know. This seems sus form to me. Like Wonder Boy's always just sort of, he's been a bit of a benchmark kind of horse. Another Prophet won that weird Guineas. Bandit Brothers did nothing the other day. Tropicus has always sort of been a little bit off the A grade. It was 1,200. I think Royal Insignia was very well set up to win that race. Gets to 1,400. I'm pretty sure he's a half brother written by. So that's probably some concern. But he has been very strong late at the end of all his runs. This is a weird race. There's no speed. All these horses are sort of get back style run on horses. And given that, I sort of went with Feroce, who I thought's trialled very well at Geelong leading into this campaign and sort of just could get the right run here. Well, there he was in the Guineas. Yeah, where he was just sort of parked in behind the speed behind Private Life. Probably looked the winner coming into the straight and just couldn't quite get over the top of him. But I think if he can replicate a similar performance, sort of, first up, he'll be right in the finish. And I think you could make a really good case if he does, that he should be a lot shorter than $7, $8. He's the map horse in a race where there's no speed. I'd much rather be backing him than, say, Seppels. I think Henline's definitely the best horse in the race. I have no doubt about that.
Wait
It was-
for this.
It's just what happens from 15. Like he's going to go right back on a day where it may be hard to make ground. He looks the Australian Guineas, even Rosehill Guineas sort of horse. But
I think he'd be forward enough here, though. They've given him a couple of rev-ups in
yeah,
those trials.
his jump out was good at Balnarring. So yeah, best horse, just probably the worst setup. So I'm happy to go with Feroce. I think this is probably a good one for him to knock over. Gold Rush Guru looks like he's in need of a run. Red Ace's jump out was okay. But yeah, I was Feroce.
This is an interesting one with Gold Rush Guru, and I can sort of see why he's been back. Maybe the camp are going to go forward, but he actually jumped with the leaders at the start here, and you see him in the gold hat, and then they just took a hold of him, and then he sort of just one-batted. But stay focused on the inside here, and this is the 1,100-metre sprint race, and it's 3 weeks between runs, so they've had a bit of a pipe opening here, and he was a bit average late, but the market's just so hot for him here. I assume that they're going to go forward on him, DK.
Well, that was a bit, they've put him in that instead of barrier trial, remember? It must have been trial. So instead of trial, we'll throw him in the 1,100-metre sprint race. So for a horse who's coming off a 2,500-metre Derby win after that, I thought he didn't run too well. So he ran pretty well, actually. So, I tipped him to win the Derby. I'm a fan of his, but I probably prefer to see him resume. But I can see him running well fresh. Good, yeah.
It's an interesting one, Henline, Walt. I thought he maybe just didn't quite see out the 2,000 metres of the spring champion. So a target over the mile looks about he's out of limit. What do you think?
Each way to your ass bleeds in this, I'd say. He just looks better than him to me. Royal Insignia's good as your fault to written by. He was good the other day. There's also going to be better ready. But if 3 wide cover, let him loose down the outside. I don't care if they sprint home. I think you'll outsprint him. I think 10 to 1 each way or whatever it is, big price Henline.
Yeah, I think they're the two horses that I like too. Feroce, I thought he was a different horse at the Geelong trials. He just reefed and teared all last prep. And the first up run where he got beaten the McNeil, obviously they know he's a keen going horse, and it was a bit of a sacrifice run, that one. And he never got clear air. And over the progression of the campaign, and then even more so on that first this barrier trial that he's had, he just went to sleep like a kitten. So he could be a completely new horse, Feroce. And if Billy's awake, he could just go straight to the front. And I think he'll take some running down. And Yeah, I think Henline's the one that will be storming home. And like the boys said, I'm just happy to pen that other form. And there's just nothing else left in the race. I think
Sepples looks a hole in the market, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's going on?
I had something on it the other day, but the race was perfectly run as it was in the exact right spot. J-Mott gave it, and it got keen. That's why they can't step it up in trip, because it's still overdoing it, learning. So I can see, I know low draw B syntax and all that, but I tell you what, it looks a hole in the market compared to these other horses.
Couldn't agree more. All right, easy. Great way to make money, and it's 110% market at Toppy. So Tristan will have to duck and cover there because they're letting people on to win 10,000 responsibly. Flemington Race 8 is what some say is potentially the race of the year. Going off very early, but
What?
race.
Who said that?
Who said who?
Oh, a couple of
Benny
media
Scarf?
outlets.
Pen him.
No?
Give him the Gordo pen job.
Flemington Race 8, the Black Caviar Lightning. It's got the right name for it. Switzerland is $2.60 favourite, in from $3.20. Growing Empire, $4.20 into $3.90. Traffic Warden, $6.50. I'm Me, $7.50. Benedetta, $13. Marzu, $18. Stretton Angel, $21. Mornington Glory, $26. And then you got Joyful Fortune. Can't believe it's still going around. You got Way of the Stars, first up, $34. And then you got Philosopher and Skybird. Let's have a look at a couple of the trials, or the jump outs they call them, up the straight. Switzerland here, Traffic Warden and Benedetta. Nico.
Yeah, so Switzerland's on the fence and Traffic Warden's in the blue, and then Benedetta's outside of Traffic Warden. I thought the key thing to take out of this trial or jump out with Switzerland is what she's worked through the line. He doesn't do much to the post, but through
Which
the line
fence?
he's the strongest.
Inside or out?
Inside.
Inside Switzerland.
It's on the inside. That's Benedetta and the black on the outside.
That's the way it's been at Flemington for probably, 100 years?
How would you know?
Oh, go away, Walt.
I've never seen a race there.
And this was Switzerland's third piece of work for the prep. So he's had 2 trials in Sydney. Then he had about, I think, 7 or 8 days, came down here, has the jump out. Benedetta and Traffic Warden look a bit sharper in this piece of work, but he's worked through the line when J-Mac sort of just lets him go a little bit. He was just trucking. So, yeah, I think he's coming here with a fair bit of intent. You couldn't really knock how Traffic Warden went there. Growing Empire's trialled well at Cranbourne. He sort of sat in behind the speed. He is behind to be or not to be. Pinstripes there, and then to the outside's Estriella in the yellow. This was a day where most of the horses winning the trials are sort of towards the middle of the track, and he was down towards the inside, eases off heels here, and really lets rip. He didn't have the blinkers on this occasion, and they go on Saturday, or they stay on. They've just left them on pretty much since the Manikato. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good work from him, but I think we got a fairly good guide on these horses in the Coolmore, and I think if Switzerland can ever replicate what he did there again, there's no doubt he's the best 3-year-old of the lot of these. Yes, Traffic Warden had EOPH, Growing Empire, probably looked a little bit over top in the yard. But the way Switzerland, first time down the straight, stalking run, just exploded. Yeah, for mine, he has to be the best of these. The rating he put down on that occasion was one of the best sprint ratings for the year. So I don't expect him to probably do this first up over 1,000 metres, but of everything I've seen for him, the way he's come back with the 3 trials, what I saw for him in the yard, he looked like a proper Group 1 colt there in the yard. Like, I wasn't sort of expecting too much from him, given some of the stuff I'd heard in Sydney early days, that he sort of was a bit small and he'd do a few things wrong. But yeah, when I saw him in the yard, Derby Day there, I was like, wow, like this horse just reminded me of probably Home Affairs, like just how professional he was. Probably not similar in terms of a type, but yeah, just how he sort of was in the zone that day. And I think if he parades similar on Saturday, maybe no betting. I think he's just here fully cranked up to win off the 3 trials. J-Mac comes down to ride. He could have stayed in Sydney. There's Via Sustina. There's all these other horses he could have been on. Comes down here to ride him. And then he's probably wins this off to the Newmarket, then off to Ascot. So, yeah, I think he could be the best today, Switzerland. Traffic Warden, I've got him pegged as probably a 1,400 metre horse, and Growing Empire, I don't know if he's as good. So, Switzerland for me. Keen.
He was 5th up there, Growing Empire, so I think he was entitled to lay down and have a bit of a rest. What do you think about that, Nico?
Yeah, well, it looked that way in the yard. Like, he definitely didn't parade as well as what he did in the Manikato there on Derby Day. So,
from memory, that was our mantra on the show leading into that race. So they were going to basically 3 grand finals in a row.
Yeah.
Weren't they? Manikato, Everest, and then Coolmore. So
there's every chance
the poor horse, he
can improve this prep. But yeah,
but he's still got to turn around that margin. Like,
yeah, same for Switzerland. Like he's only had 8 start as well, and his last 2 are, if you just wipe his 2-year-old form and you trade him off his last 2 runs, well, he's nearly unbeatable here. So, interesting race. And I'm not too worried about the 1,000 either. Like, you look back through the honour roll, the Lightning, good horses just win this race, even if they're not 1,000-metre horses. It's made for those top-class sprinters, and I think he is one.
Group 1 DK?
Well, I had a look because I'd sort of looked at all the main I drew to the SPs, of course, and they did SP shorter than him, but I think maybe Switzerland was over the odds, possibly over the odds there, and there was the 2 excuses that it had a bleed in the end, traffic warden, and that Growing Empire was over the top, but the Blue Army, there's no more Blue Army. We don't call them the Blue Army anymore, aren't they? Aren't they? They're falling away, aren't they? The Blue Army. In numbers and whatever. I don't know, Walt might know more about what's going on there, but they seem a shadow of their former selves or reducing, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't want to be with any of them. Aleppo Pine was an absolute skunk last week. And Growing Empire, is a bit of a... Can he come back? He's got to come back after that really busy last prep. So Switzerland, Waller, 3-year-old in a big sprint race down the straight. It's the starting point, and J Mackey will be hard to beat.
Might have pulled up lame Aleppo Pine. I'll have to check that.
Sounds like DK did too.
What's that? He did.
Pulled up lane. It's just a match race. He's like they're going to be ready. I don't really have a big opinion one over the other. It's I think they're both kitchen sink jobs. It's just worth too much money for both of them to win this race and sort of kick off this campaign. So I think it's going to be a great race between the two of them. And my angle. Skybird's going to be 100 to 1. I'm throwing it in the bottom end of placings for exotics. I've always wanted to see this horse over a short trip down the straight. I don't think it'll win the race, but I think it'll run a big race. Roll into 3rd or 4th wouldn't surprise me. But the 2 colts up the front. It's a great kick-off to the carnival, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely going to be a great race.
I was interested in Skybird, but mainly because, the Arkansas kid's just a bomb wet tracker, and her second behind him in the Bobby Lewis was absolutely spot on, and you got a horse like Bunus not just sort of in the mix there, but she did have 53 kilos that day, so whether she can do it, not sure. And then Mornington Glory, I thought that'd be I think I've said it before. They were talking. I don't know if they're still going.
I'm on the plane.
Are you going?
Yeah, my man messaged me. He says, we're going to Dubai first. If it runs well at Dubai, we're going to the Royal Ascot. I said, well, Dubai might see me out. I don't know if I can take a month off and go to Ascot. But so he said, right, we're going to Dubai. I said, I'll get to Dubai with it and watch it, get home over there. So, no, still that's the plan. Don't worry about that.
Well, Group 1 Gav, Bedgcorp, he'll have to have this horse cranked up, and this would be the biggest litmus test for that horse. If they're going to pursue OS, this horse, I reckon, is a knockout too at $26. So if the 3-year-old colts don't turn up, I think outside of the market, I've had something small at the 30s on Mornington Glory. I think it's crazy odds for a horse that gave him a bit of a touch-up in a few surprises in the Moyes Stakes and a couple of those races. I know they're probably not as good quality, but 1,000 metres is right up its alley. So I'll be definitely saving on it. All right. Nico's Yard. He'll be out there again on Saturday, so make sure you bet with him all autumn. You can sign up, and it doesn't get any bigger than this week Group 1s, and there's a heap of horses coming back for the first up prep, so you get some good insights on where they are at their stages of their preparation, and you would have done well last weekend with the Mr. Brightside insight there. So Nico's Yard on Twitter, and then jump in and subscribe. Walt, you're not off the hook here. Well, let's get stuck into Randwick, and we're going to start with one of your better bets on the program. It's race 4 at Randwick. It's the Wellington Racing Club at Trophy over 600 metres. Yorkshire's the favourite. Tools 30, Sandpaper 750, Headley Grange $9, Miss You Ella 12, Sink Tory 14, 15 for Madatsu, and then you got Zondi, similar quote with Lincoln Rocks, and then way outside the market the rest of them. The horse that you like here is Anaropa, John O'Shea, Yorkshire, and here it is in the blue with the red sleeves.
Yeah, pretty boring, but this horse just been really well placed, really progressive horse. It just keeps sort of stepping up, and J-Mac rode it well here, but it was a day that was hard to sort of run on. Sandpaper's up outside an even tempo and kicked on well. It's in the race again. He sort of gets the upper hand late. He's not a real flashy horse, this sort of horse, but that's how he wins his races. He just sort of goes through his gears, and it was hard to sort of put a margin on there. And I think really smart to claim here. Anaropa doing a really good job at the moment. She seems to, not overdo it on these go forward horses, which is probably the most important thing here. and just looks extremely well placed again. Like a lot of them are middle distance horses, first and second up. I think Sandpaper is sort of what you see is what you get there. Headley Grange is drawn really wide with blinkers on. I think, maybe it's sort of on the back nine of its preparation. So, yeah, just a perfect race with a smart claim on a horse that looks to map really well, roll forward and should run extremely well. Just look clear best betting option on the day, like the hardest horse to beat by far on the program, I thought. Vega Magnifico was a little bit unlucky last start. I thought it was probably a little bit more unlucky than the market gives it credit for. Miss is half its price here, and I think Vega Magnifico would have put 4 or 5 on it if it was given a decent steer last start and was really good first up. So it's 20-1. I thought it had a decent chance in the race, and it's the other horse in the race I'd be having go around a winner there for sure. I thought they were the two, got clear best hardest to beat and clear best value in the race.
So, yeah, the 15 Vega Magnifico, and that's at $20 at TopSport. Interesting, yeah, I sort of dug into this race a little bit and thought, can Sandpaper run 1,600 better than the other horse? Maybe not. And then maybe Pilot Error and a Roper for a horse like Sandpaper to win, or if they're all asleep. But yeah, scary race.
It just any rain doesn't. This horse seems to be a bit of a swimmer. Any rain's probably a positive for Yorkshire as well, which was another reason why it was sort of the standout early option, because it does handle wet, dry. Mile looks like it's going to be no issue. Yeah, pretty bomb-proof sort of horse.
Yeah, I was looking to try and lay it, but I ran away with the tail between legs. So I think that looks a cracking bet. Race 5 is the next one. It's the first of the 110%ers at TopSport. It's the Expressway Stakes. Jolly Star's the favourite. Heatchote is 40. Magic Time 310. Alentia 550. Iona Merc. Carly's horse $6. Give Me the Beat Boys $12. And then you got Airman at $15. Jolly Star Trial Barrier 6. You got K-Mac. Looked all right.
So this is second trial, just dragged out the back, sort of held a more forward spot. And I like that you see late, I think, is this the one?
Yep.
Is this the first, second trial? So, yeah, it gets pushed out to the line, which I thought was important. Very slowly run trial. So at least it showed a bit of intent that they want to give her a bit of a squeeze and see what she's got under the hood early in a prep, because and Lindeman's actually one to keep an eye on there. It's up in front. I probably won't watch that trial later. So Lindeman leads all the way. Jolly Star down the outside there, and just held together and did what you want to see.
$2.40. Magic Time.
Well, the race is a tricky race. You sort of two things. You'd love to fly Nico up to have a look at him in the yard to see who's ready, and then the sort of tactics. If rain comes, it's certainly going to play into the hands of Magic Time, who you would think will be in front of Jolly Star in the run. I've always been a huge Magic Time fan. I don't think she was at her best in the spring, and she still ran okay. Probably between her and Airman here, who takes up the front, and Jolly Star, arguably should have won the Everest. So, if she did that and was given a chance, got to the outside there and put a length or two on them, what price would she be here? So, yeah, I think Jolly Star definitely is the horse to beat well and truly. If she's a little bit soft fitness-wise and Magic Time gets a nice run up on speed and there's a bit of rain around, she's going to give plenty of sight. But I'd definitely rather be with Jolly Star from what she became last prep. And if she's improved again, she could arguably be the best sort of 1,400-metre horse around. So, Jolly Star, well and truly. I thought she'd be shorter, to be honest. I thought there'd be a bigger gap in the market between them, and late betting will be very interesting here.
Nico or DK, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I was the same as well. I was surprised she wasn't shorter. Like, you look back through her last 3 Randwick 1,200-metre runs, it's the win in the Arrowfield, the win first up last campaign, which was outrageous, and then you could make a real case she nearly should have won the Everest. So that's what you're working with here. That seems the best place to find her. I know Magic Time might have a few things in her favour, but like Magic Time, like Jolly Star's A-grade any day of the week, and Magic Time is probably just that level below. Like, she doesn't seem to really tackle the big Group 1. She sort of pinch hits in a few of those mares races. I think it'd have to be really wet for her to really have an impact.
A few feed issues. She's got niggles. It's like she was going to get to the level Jolly Star probably is at, and she's just never got there.
Yeah. So, and then you look outside of them, there's probably not much else in the race. The trial was super. She's a fresh, good fresh mare. She was one I was really interested to back there on Saturday in Sydney.
Barrier 6 could be a blessing with K-Mac aboard, out of trouble, and get to the outside and just rattle home. Randwick 7 is the next one. It's Light Fingers over 1,200 metres. Odds courtesy of TopSport, $3 Lady Shenandoah, $3.30 Lady Camelot. You got Manal, $4.80. Dance to the Boom, $12. Delici Boulevard, 21 into 16 for for the Hippo. And then you got Lilac 17, Show Shisha, $17. Amelita is $18. And then you got 31 or better, the rest. 2 trials we're going to have a look at here. First one is Lady of Camelot in the yellow off Sunshine Coast Run.
Yeah, so she only had a couple of weeks off, and then she was probably unlucky in a race that she was extraordinarily well placed in up on the Gold Coast. Probably should have won. But the winner here had a setback coming into that. It was 42 days off, and visually pretty much handles a Dance at the Boom. She draws 15 here. Blinkers go on. That's probably the key. And from what I'm told, I think they're expecting very good improvement. She's obviously fit. Looks like she maps ideally with probably the stablemate to sit outside her and run cover. So, yeah, she's going to get a chance in the run. And then we've got another trial.
Yeah, and this is Lady Shenandoah. But, Lady of Camelot surprised a few. And Lady Shenandoah's out in front here in the Hermitage colours.
So I think she had one trial settled out the back and sort of allowed to work home. And not as if they gave her a squeeze here. It was a pretty slow run trial. But good to see that she's got a bit of speed still in her legs and can hold the spot, which is probably important to her chances in this race in particular, and just goes through her gears there. She's an untapped filly.
She had Switzerland on her bum.
Yeah, Switzerland was right behind her, so couldn't have tried much better. But looks at Lady Shenandoah. Yeah,
and the market's just too right here, probably for me, without knowing, where these sorts of stages of preps. But Lady of Camelot, I think Lady of Camelot's very short, but she's going to have a lot of favours, map, fitness, blah, blah. This is her chance in life to beat the others, I would say. Lady Shenandoah, if she lands 1-1 or something like that, which is a chance, she just draws just outside, I think, who does she draw outside of a fast horse? I don't have this map. Lilac. She draws outside Lilac. So if she follows Lilac forward and ends up sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, she's going to be extraordinarily hard to beat, you'd say. And Manal probably wants the rain to come. Trialled well enough, but is going to give a start from a wide draw, you would imagine, and probably needs the heavy raid to come. So I'd say Lady Shenandoah is clearly the horse to beat. Went looking for value as you do. I thought Deligi Boulevard trialled really well. Bit of an underrated horse that could run a race up on speed. Sort of a little bit more of aggressive trial from Waller. So maybe she's one of the horses that they've got ready for these races in particular. Just tried to get her ready off the bat, which she tends to do. And obviously Dance at the Boom, Björn's horse. Whether it can negate that outside draw and roll forward and find a spot, maybe it could run away. She's unbeaten and she just sort of keeps finding next level after next level. So they're probably the roughies that could run races. I didn't think anything else looked like it jumped out of the ground at the trials or anything like that. But I think Lady Shenandoah is clearly the horse to beat. If you had to have a bet, that's the horse I'm backing. The others get favours or things against. It's all conditional.
Yeah, I think I'll be in total shock if Lady Shenandoah gets beat. I think she's probably better the day up in Sydney. I think she's an absolute star. Randwick Race 8 is the Petaluma Apollo Stakes, 1,400 metres. And the favourite here is Via Sistina, $1.90. K-Mac aboard. Then you got Cho Wolf, $4. Fangirl, $4.20. Lindemann, $16 in from 21. So they've obviously liked the trial, as John alluded to earlier. A Tissue, $17. Golden Path, $19. You got Zadozi, $26. And then you got Arapaho at $31 there. Let's have a look at the Via Sistina and Cho Wolf trial. There he's out in front, Cho Wolf. And then Via is right on his hammer.
Extraordinarily slow run trial. And how do you take this? This is the one with Coco Beware, the Birdman out the back. So they don't sprint home. They sprint home quick, but it's just it is a barrier trial. This I don't think you learn a lot. Cho Wolf sort of worked into his prep a little bit last time, didn't he? He was sort of going through the grades, went okay first up. It was a good run and ride second up. And I think he's the hole in the market. He's very short, I would say. Is that the only trial we're looking at there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Via Sistina just looks a beast. She's just a weapon of a beast of a unit. If she's, what's her goal? It's not this, but can she win it on the way through? This time last year or this time last prep, we were taking 10-1 in a similar race. Bigger field, probably was a bit tougher for her to win. She was 10-1. Now she's even money. She's got McAvoy on. She doesn't have a sort of a race day rider. Can she win? Absolutely. Would I take evens? No, I just couldn't. Fangirl's very dangerous. She's obviously got that turn of foot. She was a bit unlucky not to beat Via Sistina, arguably first up last time in. you're getting a better price here than there. If SP hunters like DK want to go back that far, they're probably going to be horned up. Yeah, I can't find Chaelwolf. I can't find it. I think one of the two Waller mares will probably win. And I think Lindeman's going to run a really good race. I just think he's been bouncing. He looks great. Looks like he's got really, fresh legs. He's going to roll forward. And if they leave him alone in front and with a bit of intent before the bend, I think he can run top 2 for sure. So, I think he's probably, even if you get top 3 the place or something, you might get 2-1, 5-2 the place. I think that's probably the bet I'd have in the race, honestly, if I had to have one. And maybe a slight leaning to Fangirl over Via Sistina just because of the prices. Because I can't see her being ready to go, and I can see McAvoy having her a length further back than she needs to be. And if she's dominant, maybe she's just the best horse in the country.
DK, this is your cup of tea. 7 horses first up in a Group 2 over 1,400. This is you?
Yeah, of course it is. But it is because Via Sistina's in the race. She's found her in the Cox Plate at good odds. God bless her. Just what Waller's saying is that she just keeps improving all the time. Every prep is, first time she'll straight off the plane. Second one, he said the coat never came good till after the Cox Plate for the spring. So he just said she's back in terrific order this time. So I think she just keeps improving every prep, settling in better here. Waller's got a better handle on her. So, odds on first up's not my cup of tea, but I would think she's in for the way she's trending, she's in for a huge prep.
7-year-old mare first up, Nico.
Physically,
what a world.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Seems with a few of these mares over the recent years that they just get better the older they get. Like, you go back through who are the best mares we had. Like, Winks was still winning races at 7. Prior to Jenny, like, she's come good later in life. Via Sistina.
May never retire, prior to Jenny. May never retire.
Yeah, she's coming back. And off the way she's trialled this campaign, like, she didn't trial that good going into the spring or the autumn. So, like, it'd be hard to say that she could improve off what she did last campaign, but she may be able to just hold that level again. When I did the race, she was like 240, 250, and I thought, maybe you get 260 on the day. I would probably have a bet at that price. If she's trending the other way, which looks likely, where she's closer to $1.90 on race day, they'll probably see me out. But Fangirl looks a little bit more deadly than Seawolf here because it doesn't look a lot of tempo in the race. She's got a huge turn of foot, and that's where she seems to be at her best. When they go slow, she's sort of within striking range and can just rip home. I think if it is that scenario, Seawolf probably is a little bit vulnerable given his form sort of south of 2,000 or 1,600 metres isn't that strong. And Fangirl has, maybe can match it with Via Sistina in terms of a turn of foot if it is a slowly run race. Yeah, well, CJ Waller has 4 of the runners in the race, and if I was going to just go a little bit quiet on any of these 110% markets, this is the race. This is we got a bit of a whiff about it.
And he controls the tempo too.
Who does?
Controls everything. Waller. Like if he wanted to send Lindemann out and run even time out in front, it completely changes the complexion of the race. If they want to turn it into a sit sprint, they can. It's they've got full control.
Wally's world.
Wally's
Apollo.
We're just passengers.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Hasn't had a winner for a while, Wally. He'd be very keen to get a few on the board, I think.
Just to flex his muscles back to Bjorn.
Especially with the big boys back in town.
Yeah. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be an absolute beauty regardless. So if you've got a strong opinion on a horse there, hopefully the boys have pushed you in the right direction. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Racingwatch.com.au is the weekly sub you need for New South Wales racing. John's 24/7, doesn't sleep. Pocket dials me at 1:20 on a Saturday night.
I just saw that too. That was a weird one. That was a weird one. And I'm doing a sicko thing tonight. Dogs, trots, and preview of Saturday. We're mucking around tonight on the live stream, so that'll be interesting too. We keep trying different things.
I thought you were getting robbed or bashed or something bad was happening.
1:30 in the morning.
Crikey, I didn't know what was going on.
I wasn't awake, so I don't know what the heck happened.
It was weird, mate. There's a couple of weird things happening with you lately. $30 or less per week, so it's a great spend. And if you like any sort of New South Wales racing, I'd say north of Wagga, you need to try it. And it's on Discord or Telegram. It's a whole new world out there. I got the lucky last in Eagle Farm. As I said before, I think it's going to be a good track. I think the fence might chop out, and it'll be 10-6, and I'll still be betting before dinner And the market, according to TopSport, for this benchmark 78, it's a beauty. Set to Shine's favourite, $5. Our Magnus $6.50, Ready for Anything $8. Until Valhalla $8. Centre Stone $9.50, and then you got Northern Decree $11. Field of Myrtle $11, and you got Little Beginnings $12. Billionaire Baby Light and the Boom. Toes on the Noses there too, $21, and then you got Art by Concord. Yeah, might be rain, but these two horses will cope if there's a big dump of rain around sort of 5 o'clock. And the horse I like here is Set to Shine. It's in the Golan, the maroon and yellow stripes. And really like the last sort of 200 here, where she just sort of zooms and just eats up the ground. So sure, she got a soft run in transit, but this is the perfect pipe opener for a horse jumping from sort of 1,200 to 1,400. And I think Ange will push across and set a little bit closer from barrier 9, and this horse will take a world of beating. There might be a couple of schools of thought to say that she doesn't run, a strong 1,400 metres, but she's ticked the box over 1,350 on a heavy track. To me, that tells me that she'll be no dramas here, and I think she can get full control, Angela, and be the horse to run down. The big danger here in the Bomber, it's probably going to come in a couple from 17. But have a look at the horse here in the pink. You had Vlad just strangling the horse Northern Decree here at Ipswich this day. This is first up, and it was on a soft track, so it gets through rain-affected ground. But I thought he did his best to try and get this horse beat and wanted to give it the quiet run. And the horse was just absolutely trucking and just tugged its way to the line here, and it was a really good run. And he's just going to keep improving. This horse is absolutely airborne, and Rob Heathcote had to sort of give himself up and said after the race, he said, we're targeting the second up run and not so much the first up run here, and he sort of just won by default. So they tried to hook it, as I'd say, or give it a quiet run, but horse just absolutely flying and just tugged himself to the line there. So the early market sort of gobbled up $16, and he's into $11. And if Set to Shine gets the wobbles late, that's the horse that you got to save on. So again, slightly another 2-bet strategy for me in the get outs at Eagle Farm here. But outside that, you got our Magnus, who is steady and a consistent horse, but the rider Dan McGilvray, he's just a bit passive at the moment, and he's a bit indecisive, so not sure where he's going to put that horse. And the other horse that I sort of found was Ready for Anything, and it was a good run in a slowly run race at the Sunshine Coast, but will need to be a pretty good ride from barrier 13 for R. Maloney here. Might just get a fair way out of its ground, and it might be the horse that's bringing a horse like Northern Decree into the race, and I think Northern Decree can run over the top of Ready for Anything. So 2-bet strategy for me in the lucky last, the get out stakes. That's Set to Shine and Northern Decree. Well,
what about when Ivan's Hero comes flashing through late? 25 to 1. I watched it last start and thought, well, that was stone dead. And then I went back and went, that was stone dead. Then went back again, that was stone dead. So it's just a horse at 25 to 1 that it could jump out of the ground, Ivan Hero. It's been backed a few times when it was in Sydney, and obviously shown much smaller. And when his horses get up here, and I know it's had a couple of runs up here, but I wouldn't be letting it under your guard at 25 to 1. And I found the same horse as you. I spent a bit of time on this race because I got a bit sick that you're going to start doing the get out stakes race. And I agree, Northern Decree. And I just loved the look of the horse. Big, strong bugger. Didn't look like it was ready to go there, as you said. And wide draw down the outside late in the day. Hope he's the one chasing Ivans.
Yeah, I was kicking myself too, because I sort of marked him as a bit of a dry tracker at Ipswich that day. So I halved my bet, and he went off at $8. So I was sort of just sitting there, half pulling the tail, thinking, oh, Christ, I haven't had enough on here. But it was just
Nico, I don't know if it's you or me, mate, but DK's found everything with the last 7 years on the show today. He's pulling tails because he's only had half bets on 8 to 1 chances. He's back at that many winners here. Are you knocking up back at as many winners as these two? Holy shit.
No, it was an okay day last Saturday because I got out of jail, but early it was cast, and apart from that, I was pretty much first up, so I need to get back into the groove.
Well, you and I, mate, we need to get the day that I'm sitting there pulling the tail of one at 8 to 1 because I haven't had enough on is the day I'm going much better than I am now.
You know the feeling though. Toes on the nose. I thought it needs a lot further than 1400. It's the other Sydney horse that is second up there for Jack Bruce. I thought you might say something about it, but I think it needs real wet. Is that
it's a
go?
weird
tracker?
horse. Taylor Marsh wide draw. I think he sort of found his mark in Sydney well and truly. If he can beat me, but it is 25 to 1.
Anyway, cracking race to finish. So Set to Shine and then Northern Decree. Good to get a little bit of a pump up from Walt there on that horse. Puntingform.com.au is where Nico's been rattling off all the stats. And as I alluded to earlier, that's where I do all my form. It is just the one-stop shop for sectional times, the cross-referencing you do. It just makes so much sense to be able to navigate through all the links to see how all the form lines up. I promise you, you'll improve as a punter if you tune into puntingform.com.au. Top Sports early bets, some interesting ones here. Bit of a mixed bag. The first one's Flemington Race 4, number 12, Arcana. Nico, had a look at Flemington Race 4, and would you like this bet or not?
Yeah, she's a good wet tracker. So if any rain does come, they'll be suitable for her. I had a lot of looks at the replay she was in last start, given she was with our horse, Flying Mickey, and she ran well in that race, and there's been stacks of winners out of that race. So she's a bit of a gap between runs, but she's trialled okay since. It couldn't really knock it, to be honest.
Flemington Race 9, number 8 is the next one. It's Good Sort, 350 at 750, and this is the Waller runner. I think, was it really unlucky one day in Sydney, came down and failed around Cup Week?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, that race was just a minefield. I don't know if you had a look at that Phillies race, DK, but Silly Cat was a huge win last start on the Heath. She's fresh, though. Then you got a few other sort of fillies that look like they can go on with it a little bit. No, I had no idea, honestly.
Randwick Race 6, number 8 is the next one. It's Spring Lee, 400 at $6. Walt, this is a strange one.
Yeah, if it wasn't in that stable, you'd say it had none. But he just trains every winner, doesn't he? He's got 2 in that race. He's got Bonita Queen dropping him at 8 kilos and Spring Lee. I think she's a mad fresh horse. I think she's probably better over 1,000, 1,100. I think 1,200, this sort of level. Man, you can never say never the way his horse is going, but I'd be surprised if it won. And I'm a huge Spring Lee fan. I thought it was up against it there. I thought sort of Kundalini and
sticky race,
and Clear Thinking's got highway form, but geez, it's been dominant every start, and it drops to 53. So it's a good race, but I'd be surprised if Spring Lee won it.
And the last one I haven't got to, but it's Morphettville Race 3, number 8, and that's King Moya. That's 500 at $5.
Might be Johnny Kelton's bet. I think he was tipping it.
Was it? There you go.
When I had a quick squeeze.
Very
$9
sharp.
and $4 with the tab. So yeah, so someone's launching.
Looks in the race, looking at my punting
King
form
Moya,
numbers.
Johnny Kelton. I'm
Big
tipping
time.
that's Kelton's bet. He had the form done early for Adelaide, so tipping that's him. Very clever.
Mate, how come you haven't got to that race?
Oh, too busy with the other 3 venues, so I could add more
Step
commentary.
You've changed.
Hey?
That used to be your priority.
Yeah.
For Adelaide.
No, it's
If it
just
was
down the
Oakbank,
pecking
you would have
order.
done it. If it was
Down the
Oakbank
pecking
Cup Day, you would have done it.
I would have. All right, that's a wrap from us. So hopefully there's plenty of winners there, and we'll see what the 3 till 4 slot at TopSport on Fridays to get the better prices. It'll be fast and furious stuff there, and hopefully DK you come good for the week. A lot of that stuff.
I'll be
getting
right.
around.
Just want to know what Nico's what's the plans for the romantic thing for Valentine's Day with the bride. Nico, what's happening here?
When's Valentine's Day?
Tomorrow. Oh, like I reminded you. Don't you turn up with nothing tomorrow. Yeah, that's a big lack of brownie points there. I've reminded you.
Pretty quiet, I imagine.
All right. You've got to get something, though. They notice. They'll remember. They'll be expecting it first thing in the morning.
Out for dinner. What
day
about
is it?
you? with
Saturday or
Ruth?
Friday?
Where are you taking Ruth for dinner?
She put up a thing saying I'm single or something, a marketing thing. So that's beautiful. Gets me off the hook. Surely I'll just say, here you go. Here. It's just what it is.
Jesus. DK, Gimlet?
Again, I'm not going that good at the moment, Scoot, but we keep them for birthdays. Valentine's Day's a bit of an it'll be pizza and a salad or something up down the road. Keep it pretty. Try not to spoil them too much. Valentine's Day. It's a bad precedent. You know, just make note of the day, but birthdays and anniversaries are the big spending, the gimlets and whatnot.
Pizza and salad. You are last of the romantics, big fella.
It's wood-fired pizza and this beautiful lamb salad. It's her favourite. So take it for that.
Poochie pizza.
Her favourite. I'll have to settle for Japanese. All right, we'll see you. We'll see you next week for more Bet Doctor. Big thanks to TopSport Punting Form, Tasracing, and all the gang. Hopefully, you got plenty of winners this Sunday.